Good evening, book lovers. Welcome to another episode of Cath-Lit Live. I am your host, Amy Cattapan. You can find me everywhere on social media under my pen name for my children's books. Are they back there? They are back there. AJ Cattapan. So that's where you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it these days. So tonight I have a new guest for you. I don't think she's been on the show before. I actually got to see her in person recently at the Catholic Writers Conference, the live conference that we just had here in the Chicago area. And now I get to chat with her on Zoom about her latest book. So we're going to be talking today with Maria Gallagher. She is a speaker, author, and advocate for pregnant women and their children. Her previous books include Joyful Encounters with Mary and Mercy's Power, both from Marian Press. She is a member of the worldwide Curcio movement. I hope I said it right. I was practicing it. And it makes her home in Pennsylvania. So please help me welcome Maria Gallagher. Hello, Maria.
Hello, it's so great to be with you.
Oh, I am so glad to have you on. I was just telling everyone we got to see each other in person at the Catholic Writers Live Conference, but now we get to chat about your latest book that's coming out at the beginning of July. And this one is Glorious Encounters with Mary from, no big surprise here, Marian Press. That seems like an appropriate publisher for a book about Mary. Tell us about this book. What is Glorious Encounters with Mary about?
Well, I wrote Glorious Encounters with Mary as a journey of discovery for readers so that they can find a way to draw closer to the Blessed Mother by examining how their lives intertwine with hers. And I think that when we look at the glorious mysteries of the Rosary, they're not just Mary's mysteries, they're also mysteries for ourselves. And we have periods of time when we are resurrected from difficult circumstances. We rise from the ashes. We have periods of time when we seem to ascend into heaven, when we have those heavenly moments on earth. We have times when we experience the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. And so we have something in common with Mary, and I wanted to share that with the world.
Tell me about why you decided to write this. Like you have, I mentioned a book, Joyful Encounters with Mary, which I'm going to guess is about the joyful mysteries, right?
Yes.
So is this just like a natural follow-up or was there more to it?
Well, it was a natural follow-up. I wrote Joyful Encounters with Mary during the pandemic when I felt that there was a real shortage of joy in the world. And readers asked me, can you please go on to some other mysteries? And I weighed my options and I thought to myself, you know what? I think I want to tackle the glorious mysteries because I have had a prayer request that was answered in a most glorious way after praying for 16 years for a resolution.
Wow.
And so I wanted to share that with my readers. And that was the jumping off point. And from there, it was smooth sailing. And I just found that it was a wonderful adventure to go through these glorious mysteries with Mary.
Okay, so tell me about what this title means. I mean, obviously it's related to the glorious mysteries, but what does that mean to have a glorious encounter with Mary?
Well, oftentimes we speak of feeling Christ's presence in our lives, and that's very important. I think that sometimes, though, we have difficulty finding Christ and we need a bridge, and that bridge can be the Blessed Mother. And we can have those times when we feel Mary's presence, we feel her motherly care for us. And those times can be quite glorious. I mean, if you've ever had an experience where you've seen a child being born, for instance, that's a glorious experience. If you've seen a beautiful sunset when you felt as if life was pretty dark, that's a glorious experience. When you touch your favorite pet and give that pet a hug, I think that's a glorious experience. So there are so many glorious experiences in our lives if only we open our eyes to see them.
Readers are going to get out of this book? A greater devotion to praying the rosary, or what's your hope?
Actually, my intention is that people derive great hope by reading Glorious Encounters with Mary. I think there is a lack of hope in our world. things can seem very troubled in our families, in our communities, and in our country. And we are starving for hope as individuals. And I think that Mary can provide that hope to us. She's that shining light in our lives. And I think that when we experience those moments of hope, I call them Mary moments. They're moments when we can draw closer to Mary and closer to Jesus in the process. So I hope that people develop a greater appreciation of Mary, a greater appreciation of the Rosary, and in turn, a greater relationship with God.
Yeah, I know sometimes Catholics, we get slammed a little bit. People think, oh, you like worship Mary, but I like that you keep reiterating this idea that really she's there to draw us closer to Christ, right? She's like pulling us in and saying, come on, let me show you to my son. And I love that you tie that in, right? This is just, she's a helper, right? She just wants to help us.
Absolutely. We can't love Mary any more than Jesus does, right?
Right.
And so we don't put Mary above Jesus. She is our queen, but he is our king. And she is in this business of leading us closer to him. And that's all she wants. She wants to have the praise go directly to God because she knows who's number one in the world.
Right. I think I heard it described once that like in the ancient worlds, the queen mom, you know, the king's was really the king's mother, right? And she was kind of the one who got to decide who got to speak to the king. Like she could decide who got to go in front of him and make his plea. So I kind of like that analogy for her, right? She's helping get the right people in front of Christ.
Yeah, she's absolutely the one that we can turn to when we need help the most because she has the king's ear. And she is going to be that individual who will draw us closer to him and give us more meaning in our lives. And I think that's what we're all searching for. We're searching for that meaning. So many people say, I don't know the meaning of life. Well, the meaning of life is to love, and God is love. And Mary brings us to that love.
Beautifully said. Well, where can people find out more about you and your books, Maria?
If people are interested in my books, they can go to my website, which is mariavgallagher.com. That's mariavgallagher.com. Or they can go to my Instagram page, which again is Maria V. Gallagher. Or you can check out my books on the shopmercy.org website.
Yes, right, because they're from Marian Press. So very good. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight, Maria. I appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure.
All right, you take care, and I'm sure I'll see you again at a future writing conference, if not sooner.
That sounds terrific.
All right, good night. All right, so grateful to Maria for joining us here. Again, look for her book from Marian Press at the beginning of July. And if you've read either of her other books from Marian Press, so I guess this is going to be her third. If you've read any of her other books, let us know in the comments. Always like to hear what experiences people have had with the author's books. And then check out her new one from Marian Press called Glorious Encounters with Mary. And if you haven't already and you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe so you do not miss future episodes. And until then, I'm just going to wish you all happy reading.